In this video, I'm going to show you 4 different ways to price your info product so that you can make the most money possible. Hi, my name is Andrew Zemmers and you're watching What Works in Marketing YouTube channel. This is the place where you get proven tactics, strategies, and new and exciting findings in digital marketing so you can finally grow your online business and live the life you want. All right, you've just created an info product or you're planning to make one and you have a question and you can't decide how much to charge for it. Some online resources say to charge a lot, basically as much as you can, to kind of get more profit out of that and position yourself as the most valuable source on the internet. On the other hand, other marketers basically preach to charge as little as you can to get that volume up and try to catch your audience into that impulse buy. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 different pricing models that I found useful in my 11-year marketing career, so you can set your prices smart, generate more profit, and win over the competition. All right, model number 1 is value-based pricing. And as you might remember, number 1 rule of pricing is very simple. You can charge as much as you want, as much as you like, unless the perceived value is higher than the actual price. And then there is this Dolan and Gorville model that's being taught in business schools. And there are like 4 different levels of prices. There's cost of goods, then there's actual price, there's perceived value, and then there's true economic value. Your goal is basically to be right below the perceived value. So your audience, your customers kind of senses that they are getting a good deal. While this model is valuable for some, and it's especially valuable if you're an e-commerce business, however, I think it's a bit too theoretical and it's hard to put perceived value for info business. Good news, there are other models that you can use. What we can take from this model: you can set your prices as much as you want unless the perceived value is a little bit higher than your actual price. Model number 2 is audience research, and this is actually my favorite pricing model. It's based on the Van Westendorp pricing model, where you basically ask your audience 4 questions. At what price is it too low? You question its quality. Then there is, at what price do you think it's a bargain? The third is, at what price do you think it begins to seem expensive? And fourth, at what price is it too expensive? So what do? We create a survey, we put all the 4 questions in the survey, we send it out to our audience, and we collect data. When we gather the data, we have the graph that looks similar like this one. And your goal, or my goal, is to charge for your product the price that's in this price area. I think this model is very useful because it tells you actually how much you should charge for the product in actual numbers. And these actual numbers are based on real survey data. The only issue is that it's not very useful if you're just starting out and if you don't have any audience. Model number 3 is competition-based pricing. I think this is not very popular model in the info product niche. However, as a pricing model, it's an old classic and very useful. You start by looking at your competitors and similar players in the niche, and you see and you think where you fit. The goal is to think about how you want to position yourself and find the gaps. Maybe you want to be that win-win solution where you charge less than competitors but basically give the same amount of value. Or you want to be the best or most valuable solution in the market where you charge the most and give the most value. I think whenever you're setting prices for your product, you should always look at competition, because you don't want to be in the situation where you give less and charge more for your product than your competition. I think it's not very healthy in the long term. Model number 4 is funnel-based pricing. In this model, you set prices depending on where your product fits in the funnel. And there are 3 levels. There's entry-level product, core product, and higher ticket product. If you want to create a relatively cheap product, a front-end product that gets customers through the door, then I think $29 to $99 will work. However, if this product is higher up the value ladder and you're selling this product as a core offer or core product, then maybe $2.99, $4.99, up to $9.99 will work. For example, if your entry product costs $29, then I think core product can go for $1.99 up to $4.99. On the other hand, if your entry product costs $69 to $99, then you can set the price for your core product from $4.99 to $6.99, even up to $9.99. And maybe you already have entry product and core product and you want to launch a higher ticket product that you can upsell to the core product buyers. And in this case, this product can go as high as $1,500 or even $5,000. The only comment from me, from my experience, I don't think you can sell above $3,000 to $5,000 without having a sales team that closes these deals. So be careful. I actually had a client who had an info product and we sold it for $2.5K, and we sold it through webinars and email sequences without having a sales team. So I think 2.5 or 3K is kind of the ceiling for info products that you want to sell without having a sales team. All right, here you have 4 pricing models, and no matter which model you take, remember, the rule number 1 for pricing is you can set your prices as high as you want unless the perceived value is higher. Simply put, the bigger the problem or the bigger the pain, the higher the perceived value. I hope you find this video useful, and if you want to find effective ways to drive that perceived value of your product and increase profit, I recommend watching one of my previous videos about price and value. Until next time, see ya!